Today we're going to be taking a look at a Hunter original. This is a reversaire original from the Robbins and Myers era in antique brass. Has a round globe on it, and the blades, I believe, are pecan. Has an isolation ring on it. Fan did not originally come with that, however I put it on there to dampen the motor hum a little bit. This is a 2-speed original as well. Quite common for R&M originals. I believe they only switched to 3-speed during the last year of R&M, which was 1984, I want to say. And this version of the original right here, for me, is big time childhood. There is a local pub down the road from here that back in the day had 4 of these installed over the main bar area. Antique brass reversaire originals, 52-inch, with round globes. Looked exactly like this. The only difference is that the globes were painted to look like baseballs, as it is a sports bar. Or rather, it's a bar that a lot of guys go to watch sports with their buddies, as they're always playing whatever sports game happens to be on TV. And going there as a kid with my family a lot, I always loved to look at these fans over the bar area. However, as is the case with a lot of cool older fan installs, it did not last forever. Around 2010 or 11, they were replaced with Hampton Bay Farmingtons because, of course, they were. And around that time, I was only 10 years old, so definitely too young to be collecting fans. So I presume the fans were either thrown out or the electrician took them and who knows what, maybe sold them for scrap metal, or if we're lucky, maybe donated them to Habitat for Humanity or something like that. Though, more often than not, when I assume electricians take old lighting fixtures that they work on, it seems most likely they're going to sell them for scrap. But, I don't know. Maybe not. So, because of that, I was always keeping an eye out for an original of this type. However, finding an antique brass reversaire R&M original, or any antique brass R&M original for that matter, in good shape can be a rather tricky task, as R&M Hunter's antique brass is rather notorious for oxidizing and corroding quite easily. Hunter was pretty bad with their antique brass back in the early 80s. An example of that would be there is an ice cream parlor slash breakfast diner that actually just recently closed down, unfortunately, in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, that has about 6 of this exact Type 2, except they have 4-way light fixtures instead of a single fitter on them, and every single one of those is oxidized to hell and back. It looks more like Verde than antique brass. And that seems to be the more common state you see these in, though that is an extreme example because they were exposed to coastal air for many years. So this one is in pretty good shape. It's not in the perfect shape. It does have some spots of tarnishing and oxidation here and there. However, ultimately, I think I kind of prefer that because the fans that were installed in that pub back in the day, they were by no means in perfect shape either. They had some tarnished spots here and there as well, and they were also coated in layers of nicotine, as up until I want to say 2004, the bar allowed smoking inside, so these fans were exposed to cigarette smoke for the better part of 20 years, so I'm sure they were filthy when they were taken down and replaced. All in all, though, I am definitely happy to have one of these, so I can recreate one of my childhood favorites. There is the light. I am kind of tempted to take one of those round globes and paint it like a baseball to perfectly recreate it. I may do that, or maybe not. Currently up in the air about it. Then we'll start the fan up on low. As I mentioned before, this is a 2-speed original. And as is the case on most 2-speed originals, low speed is more of a medium speed. Has a nice low speed, putting out a decent breeze, and there is a little bit of vibration from the globe, which is pretty standard for these types of fans. I remember the 4 originals that were installed over the bar in that pub. They never spun this fast. They always had that restaurant-style low about them. So either they were later 3-speed R&M originals with reversaire, or maybe they had them on variable speed control somewhere in the back and turned it down to get that restaurant-style low that almost all restaurant fans have, hence the term restaurant-style low. More than likely they were on variable speed controls, but who knows, they could have been 3-speed originals. Then we'll go up to high. Fan does not have too much wobble to it, just a little lurching back and forth. Putting out a very good breeze. Hunter Originals are some of the best air movers ever created in the ceiling fan world. static electricity zap there. Sorry about that. Anyways, there you go. An antique brass Robbins and Myers Hunter original with reversaire. Another childhood install recreated.